Hello everyone, I am Kajal Jha, lecturer in a Praveen Patil College of Diploma Engineering and Technology. Subject is Electronic Engineering Materials 22217 of the department EG. Same is second sem. So in a previous video we done with the energy band diagrams of the solids. Then now in this video we will see the mechanism of the current flow and difference between the conductors, then semiconductors and insulators. So let's see. Mechanism in a current flow. A current flow through the metal is only due to the free electrons, but the current flow through the semiconductors is due to the movement of electrons, that is nothing but the negative charge carriers, as well as the holes, that is positive charge carriers. There can be a two completely different phenomena responsible for the flow of a current in a semiconductor. First is a drift current and second one is the diffusion current. So what is mean by drift current? A drift current can be defined as the charge carriers moves in a semiconductors because of the electric field. Means when we apply the potential difference, then the charge carriers are moves in a semiconductor. Okay, so the current is flow due to that electric field applied between the 2 points. Because of that the current is flow and that current is called as drift current. So once the voltage is applied to a semiconductor, then the electrons move towards the positive terminal of the battery, whereas the holes travel towards the negative terminal of the battery. Here, holes are positively charged carriers, whereas the electrons are negatively charged carriers. Therefore, the electrons attract by the positive terminal of the battery, whereas the holes are attracted by the negative terminal of the battery. So what is this is nothing but the drift current. So what is mean by diffusion current? The diffusion current can be defined as the flow of charge carriers within a semiconductor travel from a higher concentration region to the lower concentration region. A higher concentration region is nothing but where the number of electrons present in the semiconductor. Similarly, a lower concentration region is the where the less number of electrons are present in the semiconductor. So the process of diffusion mainly occurs when a semiconductor is a dope non-uniformly. In an N-type semiconductor, when it is doped non-uniformly, then a higher concentration region can be formed at the left side, whereas the lower concentration region form at the right side. The electrons in the higher concentration region are more in the semiconductor, so they will experience a repulsive force from each other. So, if you want to see then the diffusion current like this, that is the higher concentration level. If we see here higher concentration level, then the higher concentration level means this is the left side and the electrons are more number of electrons are present here. Okay, this is called as higher concentration level, where the lower concentration level is like this. Only some electrons are present at a lower concentration, that is nothing but the right hand side of your right hand side. So these are nothing but, so the more a number of, so the electron concentration is a higher, because of that it experience a repulsive force. Okay, it experiences a repulsive force and here the more number of electrons are gathered. So because of that the current will flow from the higher concentration level to the lower concentration level. Okay, so that current is called as diffusion current. Okay, so that current is called as diffusion current, which will flow due to the concentration, that is the dope is non-uniformly. When the semiconductor is doped non-uniformly, then the current will experience is nothing but the diffusion current. So what is the difference in between the drift current and diffusion current? The movement of a charge carriers is because of the applied electric field is known as the drift current, where the diffusion current can be occurred because of the diffusion in a charge carriers. Second point, it requires a electrical energy for the process of a drift current, where some amount of external energy is enough for the process of the diffusion current. Third one is these current obeys the Ohm's law, and these current obeys the Fick's law. So fourth is it depends on the permittivity, but the diffusion current is independent of the permittivity. Next, the direction of the charge carriers in the semiconductor is a reverse to each other, where for a charge carriers the densities of the diffusion are reverse in a symbol to each other, because we see here higher concentration level and the lower concentration level. Okay, so here the densities we check here, densities of that region for the higher concentration and for the lower concentration. So the direction of this current mainly depends on the polarity of the applied electric field. So the direction of the current mainly depends on the charge within the concentration of the carriers. Okay, so this is nothing but the differentiative point in between the drift current and diffusion current. Next is the Einstein relation. The Einstein relation between the diffusion constant capital D and the mobility, that is mu. The Einstein relation states that the equation is nothing but dp divided by mu p is equal to dn divided by mu n is equal to capital Vt, where Vt is nothing but the volt equivalent of the temperature, and it is defined as Vt is nothing but K bar divided by Q into T is equal to T divided by 11600. Okay, so the Einstein relation is established between the two parameters, that is diffusion constant D and mobility mu. Okay, so it is defined, it is the ratio of dp by mu p, that is diffusion constant to the mobility. Okay, of a p-type semiconductor, this p shows the p-type semiconductor and this n shows the n-type semiconductor, is nothing but the Vt, where Vt is nothing but the volt equation of the temperature, and it is defined as K bar into T divided by Q, and its value is T by 11600. Okay, so this is the Einstein relation for this. Next is Hall effect. So the Hall effect is the process in which the transverse electric field is developed in a solid material when a material carrying an electric current is placed in a magnetic field that is perpendicular to the current. So Hall effect was discovered by Edwin Hubbard Hall in 1879. So principle of Hall effect. The principle of Hall effect states that when a current carrying conductor or a semiconductor is introduced to a perpendicular magnetic field, a voltage can measure at the right angle to the current path. This effect of obtaining the measurable voltage is known as the Hall effect. This is the diagram for the Hall effect. If you see, there are three axes. First is X, second is Y, and Z, where X is represent the current. Okay, X direction is represent the current, then the Z direction is represent the magnetic field, which is given here, and the Y is give the direction of the current in a negative polarity. Okay, so this force is independent of whether the current carriers are electrons or holes. So due to this force, the current carriers, that is holes or electrons, will be forced downward towards side 1. So if the semiconductor is a n type, then the electrons will be current carriers, and these electrons will accumulate on a side 1. Okay, so making that a surface a negatively charged with respect to the another axis. So hence the potential is called as Hall voltage, appears between the two axes. If the terminal, if the this terminal, that is nothing but this, if this terminal uh, is positive with respect to this terminal, okay, is positive with respect to this terminal, the semiconductor must be p type. In this way, the polarity of the Hall voltage determines the type of semiconductor. So Hall effect is nothing but what? When we applied an electric field, that is VH, okay, when we applied an electric field, the current is flow in a first, before we applying an magnetic field, the current will flow through the this material, or this means cube, okay, this conductor, current will flow through that conductor before we apply the magnetic field. Okay, when we applied the magnetic field over here, the charges are differentiate. The positive charge is collected here and negative charge is collected here. So we experience a electric field, means we get an voltage. Okay, so we get a voltage when we applied a magnetic field to a continuous current flow. Okay, so here the Hall voltage has a value of a few microvolts, so it is possible to measure using it the sensitive galvanometer or a DC potentiometer. So our assumptions that the number of electrons is equal to the number of atom could be wrong, and the assumptions of neglecting the thermal velocities could also be wrong. So there is a Hall effect, means what? Continuous current is a flow through the conductor, and when we applied the magnetic field over there, then the current is the particles or the charge carriers are separated out, that is positive is collected to positive terminals and negative is collected to negative terminals, and we get the potential difference at the 2 points or different points. So we collect the voltage by using the voltmeter. This is nothing but the Hall effect. So when a conductive plate is connected to a circuit with a battery, then a current starts flowing. The charge carriers will follow a linear path from one end to the plate to the another end. The motion of the charge carriers results in the production of the magnetic fields. So when a magnet is placed near the plate, the magnetic field of the charge carriers is distorted, means I will discuss earlier, that is it's separated. This upsets the straight flow of the charge carriers. The force which upsets the direction of the flow of the charge carriers is known as the Lorentz force. Due to the distortion in the magnetic field of the charge carriers, the negatively charged electrons will be deflected to one side of the plate and positively charged holes to the another side. A potential difference known as the Hall voltage will be generated between both the sides of the plate, which can be measured using a meter. So the Hall voltage represented as VH is given by the formula VH is equal to I into B into Q and D. So here I is represent the current flowing through the sensor, B is represent the magnetic field strength, Q is nothing but the charge, N is the number of charge carriers per unit volume, and D is nothing but the thickness of that sensor. So this is nothing but the Hall effect phenomenon, how the Hall effect phenomenon is work. Means when we connect a conductive plate to a battery, then the continuous current is flow through that battery. If we see here, when we conduct terminal battery, okay, the continuous current is flow through that battery, so it create a magnetic field here. When we apply magnet here, or when we place a magnet to that linear path, then the path, that linear path is distorted, and we get charge carriers, plus is here and minus is here, and these charge carriers is calculated using the voltmeter. Okay, here the voltmeter is placed. So this continuous flow of a charge carriers or the current is distorted because we place the magnet over there. So because of that, plus is occupied at a plus side and negative is at a negative side, so we get a potential difference between these 2 points, and it is nothing but the Hall voltage, and this is nothing but the Hall voltage. Okay, so here the chapter that is nothing but the semiconductor material is completed. Thank you.